Good morning. As we all know, the entire world is going through the toughest situation ever. Hope all of you follow the instructions from the authority and stay happy. We are going to start our new academic year 2020-21 through online classes. It will be a nice experience for us. Let me introduce myself. I am Divya K. Krishnan and I am handling the general paper signatures expressing myself with a Clement sir. For this paper, we are following this textbook. Signatures textbook for 3rd semester UG common course. Signatures expressing the self, it is our general paper. About this paper, it is an interesting collection of personal narratives of the great personalities in the world. I know you are interested to know about the famous personalities. This book is comprised of 3 modules. The first module entitled Autobiographical Writings and Memoirs. Have you heard about autobiographies? Yes, I feel you have a clear idea about autobiography. Anyway, we can speak about autobiographies in general. Autobiographies is the biography of oneself narrated by oneself. Autobiographical works can take many forms. Writings made during life that were not necessarily intended for publications. Letters, diaries, journals, memoirs are including in this category. Autobiography tells a life story of its author, meaning of it is a written record of author's life. Rather than being written by somebody else, an autobiography comes through the person's own pen in his own words. Some autobiographies are written in the form of a fictional tale as novels or stories that closely mirror events from the author's real life. The famous novelist Charles Dickens's David Copperfield is an example for this. Have you heard about Helen Keller? Yes, I think all of you are familiar with Helen Keller. The Story of My Life by Helen Keller, it is an autobiography. In her autobiography, Helen Keller recounts her first 20 years, beginning with the events of the childhood illness that left her deaf and blind. Through autobiography, authors can speak directly to the readers. By writing an autobiography, individual shares his triumphs and defeats and lessons learned, allowing readers to relate and feel motivated by inspirational stories. Life stories bridge the gap between people of differing ages and backgrounds, making connections between old and new generations. In an autobiography, the author attempts to capture important elements of his life. He not only deals with his career and growth as a person, he also uses emotions and facts related to family life, relationships, education, travels, sexuality, and any type of inner struggles. So I think all of you got a clear picture of what it is autobiography. So it is highly personal. We will get the idea about the author's life it in detail. Okay, then we can move to memoir. Have you heard the word memoir? Then I already mentioned earlier, we can see that memoirs, it is also the part of autobiographies. Then what is memoir? Memoir is a record of memories and particular events that have taken place in the author's life. In fact, it is telling of a story or an event from his life, an account that does not tell the full record of life. So, definitely through the memoir, we will get the idea about author's particular life incident. Here she is speaking about his or her personal incidents which is very close to their heart. Then we can find out the differences between autobiography and memoir. In essence, autobiography is a chronological telling of one's experience, which should include phases such as childhood, adolescence, adulthood, etc. I already told you Helen Keller's autobiography. It is the best example because she is speaking about all the life incidents it in the correct order. Okay, so in the case of memoir, it provides a much more specific timeline and much more intimate relationship to the writer's own memoirs, feelings and emotions. So I think all of you get the clear picture of what it is autobiography and what it is memoir. Autobiography എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് നമ്മൾ ഓരോരുത്തരുടെയും ജീവിതത്തിൽ നടക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ അതിൻ്റെ കൃത്യം ക്രോണോളജിക്കൽ ഓർഡറിൽ എക്സ്പ്ലെയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. ചൈൽഡ്ഹുഡും അഡോളസൻസും അങ്ങനെ കൃത്യമായിട്ട് ഓരോ സ്റ്റേജിലും നടക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഒരു സ്റ്റോറി ആയിട്ടോ ഒരു ഫിക്ഷനൊക്കെ ആയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അവതരിപ്പിക്കുന്നതാണ് ഓട്ടോബയോഗ്രഫി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. മെമ്മോയർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നതും ഓട്ടോബയോഗ്രഫിയുടെ ഒരു ഭാഗം തന്നെയാണ്. പക്ഷേ അതിൽ നമ്മൾ ഒരിക്കലും ഇങ്ങനെ കൃത്യമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഓർഡർ കൊണ്ട് നടക്കുന്നില്ല എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതിലേതെങ്കിലും ഇൻസിഡൻറ്റിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ ജീവിതത്തിൽ വളരെ സ്വാധീനിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ഏതെങ്കിലും ഇൻസിഡൻസോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മെമ്മറീസിനെയൊക്കെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് അതിൽ മെമ്മോയർ ആയിട്ട് രേഖപ്പെടുത്തുന്നത്. സോ ഐ തിങ്ക് ദ ഐഡിയ ഈസ് ക്ലിയർ. You already got the clear picture of what it is autobiography writings and what it is memoir, because we are starting with our first module. First module is speaking about the autobiographical writings and memoirs. In this module we can see that there are 4 chapters. I am starting with the second chapter. Second chapter is Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. It's a memoir written by Annie Dillard. You know who is Annie Dillard? Annie Dillard is a very famous American writer. Annie Dillard was born on April 30, 1945 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, United States. Her essays of contemplation on the world of nature made this American author extremely popular. So she was interested to observe the beauty of nature. More than that, she already wrote so many things relating beauty of nature. That is why this American author Annie Dillard, she became extremely popular through her writings. Her curriculum vitae denotes she has no religion and she is a Democrat. Regarding her writing, process, she makes a striking observation. I do not so much write a book as sit up with it as dying friend. I hold its hand and hope it will get better. Annie Dillard is simultaneously a poet, naturalist, novelist, essayist, critic, theologian, and singer. Then I told you, she revealed that she didn't follow any religion, and more than that, she is a poet, she is a naturalist, novelist, essayist, critic, and also theologian. Theologian means a person who is an expert on theology. Theology means study of religious. She was also a very good singer. Her prose is richly poetic and densely philosophic. When she writes, strange things become familiar and vice versa. So she had a great magic in her writings. When she is writing, we can see that the strange things became familiar, but vice versa also. Even we think that we have a clear picture about the particular subject, but when we go through the writings of Annie Dillard, we feel that it is strange. It is strange to me. Then, like that, her writings, it is richly poetic and densely philosophical. About her famous work in Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, Dillard looks at the marvels of nature and searches for God. Then let us speak about her famous work Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. This book details the narrator's explorations near her home and various contemplations on nature and life. Then I told you she is a naturalist. So she is interested to visit her nearest places, and she has the habit to watch all the things in nature very closely. Dillard began writing Pilgrim at Tinker Creek in the spring of 1973, using her personal journals as inspiration. In Pilgrim at the Tinker Creek, Dillard looks at the marvels of nature and searches for God. Through this book, we can see that she is a real lover of nature. At the same time, she wants to connect God with nature. She is trying to search for God through nature. She is undertaking a pilgrimage into nature and observes nature with a microscopic eye. That is the another speciality of Annie Dillard. Even she is interested to watch all the minute details in nature, and she enjoyed to observe the nature very closely. This book has been described as a naturalistic classic. It portrays the personal experience of Dillard during a whole year in her neighborhood in Tinker Creek. So actually she took 1 year to complete this book. In addition the details of nature, she also added her personal details in this book. She carefully crafted this by observing and researching the natural world. So we discussed here the book of Annie Dillard, that it is Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. She started to write the book in a beautiful spring of 1973. It is based on the nearest place of her house. It is Tinker Creek. She has the habit to reach that place in early morning. She started to watch all the things in nature very closely. At the same time, she wanted to connect it with God. And we can see that she takes 1 year to complete this book. She also added her personal details, personal memories along with it. So I think all of you get the clear idea about Annie Dillard's book Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. It is a memoir of Annie Dillard. Then about her family, Dillard was the eldest of 3 girls, and as she claims in her childhood memoir, had great affection for her parents, having enjoyed a very joyous childhood. She recollects, "My mother had given me the freedom of the streets as soon as I could say our telephone number. She used to read a wide variety of subjects such as geology, natural history, entomology, epidemiology, poetry, and so on." From these words, we can feel that she was very happy with her family. She got the freedom from her parents, especially her mother. She was very supportive to her. And even from her childhood onwards, she had the habit to read books. We already identified she got the opportunity to read geology, natural history, entomology, epidemiology, poetry, and so on. So she started to collect the information through her reading, and she was very happy in her with her family. Dillard's books were translated into not less than 10 languages. Her major works are Tickets for a Prayer Wheel. It was published in 1974. Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. I already told you this book published in 1974. Holy the Firm, 1977. Living by Fiction, 1982. Teaching a Stunt to Talk, 1982. An American Childhood, 1987. The May Trees, 2007. The Abundance, 2016. These are her very famous works. An American Childhood is Dillard's autobiography. So she already wrote autobiographies and also memoirs. Do you want to get the more details about Annie Dillard's life? It will be a wonderful experience to read the book An American Childhood. Definitely you should go through these through her famous books. Dillard taught for 21 years in the English department of Wesleyan University in Connecticut. She was awarded the Pulitzer Prize for General Nonfiction in 1975 for her work Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. We also identified her works already translated more than 10 languages. Then she already taught for 21 years in an English department. About her famous work Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, it was awarded the Pulitzer Prize. The book has been described as a naturalist classic. Annie Dillard says that initially she had thought this book would be read only by a few monks, but after the book won the Pulitzer Prize for General Nonfiction, it reached a much larger audience. Even when she wrote this book, she expected it will not get a reach among public. But when the book won the Pulitzer Prize, after that the readers started to read it. It got the worldwide attention. Dillard has been described as a perfect antidote for an epoch defined by mass attention deficit disorder. Dillard says about the work, "It's all a matter of keeping my eyes open." She could wait patiently and passionately for hours for a glimpse of a muskrat. And I told you, she is a lover of nature. She has the habit to watch all the minute things very closely. That is why we are saying that she had a microscopic eye, and she watched each and every things in this world, living and non-living things, and she started to include all these things in her writings. Pilgrim at Tinker Creek is an exciting meditation on nature and its seasons. It is a personal narrative revealing the writer's exploration during a whole year on foot in her neighborhood in Tinker Creek in Virginia. She examines, interrogates, and experiments with clinical precision, providing microscopic details of the hitherto unheeded moments in the natural world. Then I already told you, she spent minimum 1 year to complete this book. Every day she visited the Tinker Creek and she watched all the things very closely, and she recorded all the details in this memoir. At the same time, she also added her personal things, and she started to connect God with nature through this beautiful book. As the strange drama of life gets enacted before our eyes, we are directed to see afresh and muse about the Creator's vision and purport. As she attempts to decode the enigma of the water bug sucking the life out of a frog, or from the praying mantis laying eggs after deforming the male, or from the monarch butterflies which hatch and carry the smell of the previous seasons with them before migrating to the south. Through this book, we will get a clear idea about the life of a butterfly, and the bug, how the bug sucking the life out of a frog. Like that, she shares all the life cycle very clearly. The reader is filled with awe and reverence at this recognition of the natural world. Dillard was greatly inspired by Thoreau's Walden, but unlike Thoreau, in The Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, Dillard does not discuss her memoirs of the past. Her motives are the house she lives in or people around her. There are no explicit opinions about society. I told you, when we go through this particular book, we will get the clear picture of the nature, all the insects, especially the bed bug and the butterflies. And she also connects it with God. And she also added her life experiences about her family in this work. But we will not get any explicit opinions about society. She only speaks about her own life, about the nature, about God. She didn't make any controversy relating the society. That is the speciality of Annie Dillard. I think all of you got the clear picture about the differences between autobiography and memoir. And you also got the clear idea about the author Annie Dillard and her famous work Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. So once again we can revise all these points. At first we talked about the differences between autobiography and memoir. Autobiography is the writing of a person relating his life experiences in a chronological order. In the case of memoir, they are giving importance to a particular incident or memory. Here Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, it is an example for memoir. At the same time, Annie Dillard also wrote her autobiography, that it is an American childhood. Then we also talked about her work Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. It is very famous work. It won the Pulitzer Prize. After that, I think it got a worldwide attention. Even she didn't have an idea it will be popular among the common people. Okay, then we can go to the textbook. Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. A couple of summers ago, I was walking along the edge of the island to see what I could see in the water, and mainly to scare frogs. Frogs have an inelegant way of taking off from invisible positions on the bank just ahead of your feet, in dire panic, emitting a froggy yike and splashing into the water. Incredibly, this amused me, and incredibly, it amuses me still. As I walked along the grassy edge of the island, I got better and better at seeing frogs both in and out of the water. So she is starting this particular chapter with her experience in a beautiful summer. She had the habit to walk along the edge of island. I already told you she took almost 1 year to complete this particular book. She had the habit to visit the Tinker Creek in every morning. She had the habit to spend a lot of time in that near the Tinker Creek. Okay, then she reached at the edge of the island. She started to observe all the things who living in that island. So suddenly she noticed a frog. We already know that frogs have an inelegant way of taking off from invisible positions on the bank, just ahead of your feet. I think maybe you have similar experiences in your life. When we are walking at night through a field, definitely the jump of a frog, it should be unexpected. So what will be our feeling? So that is why she says frogs have an inelegant way of taking off from indivisible positions on the bank. So when she is walking through that river bank, we can see that a frog suddenly jumped. Then she had the feeling of an irritation. Then incredibly, this amused me, and incredibly, it amuses me still. As I walked along the grassy edge of the island, I got better and better at seeing frogs both in and out of the water. I learned to recognize, slowing down, the difference in texture of the light reflected from mud bank, water grass or frog. Then she started to observe the frogs closely. Even she was afraid of frogs. She had a lot of experiences relating the frogs, but still she was afraid of frogs. And frogs were flying all around me. At the end of the island, I noticed a small green frog. He was exactly half in and half out of the water, looking like a schematic diagram of an amphibian, and he did not jump. Then we can see that suddenly she noticed a special kind of frog. It was a very small green frog. Then she was very excited to see that small green frog. It was exactly half in, half out of the water. So she started to observe it very keenly. Then she understood it just looks like a schematic diagram of an amphibian, and the frog did not jump at that moment. Actually, she had a lot of experiences like that. When we saw the frog, unexpectedly it would jump. So, but in this case, this green frog, it didn't jump at that moment. So she started to look at very keenly, and that is why she feels it's just like a schematic diagram. He did not jump. I crept closer. At last, I knelt on the island's winter killed grass, lost, dumbstruck, staring at the frog in the creek just 4 feet away. He was a very small frog with wide, dull eyes, and just as I looked at him, he slowly crumbled and began to sag. So she started to think that why this small green frog didn't jump. What is the reason behind it? Actually, she had a lot of experiences relating the frogs. What is the reason? And she started to observe it very keenly. Then she identified that it can't jump. Actually, the frog in the creek just 4 feet away, and she looked at him again very closely, and she identified the frog is squeezed and it began to sag. So what will be the reason? Why that small green frog didn't jump at that moment? Why it started to sag? Have you any idea? Okay, then we can move to the textbook. The spirit vanished from his eyes as if sniffed. His skin emptied and drooped. His very skull seemed to collapse and settle like a kicked tent. He was shrinking before my eyes like a deflating football. So I told you, she started to observe that small green frog very closely. After a few minutes, she identified the reality that a small green frog, it is going to die. That is why it can't jump. And she started to think how it happened, how it became just like a deflating football. I watched the taut, glistening skin on his shoulders rock and drums and fall. Soon part of his skin, formless as a pricked balloon, lay in floating folds like bright scum on top of the water. It was a monstrous and terrifying thing. I gaped, bewildered, appalled. An oval shadow hung in the water behind the drained frog. Then the shadow glided away. The frog skin bag started to sink. Then she started to observe it very keenly. By taking minutes, we can see that it is shrinked just like a deflating football. and she didn't recognize the reason behind it. But she understood the pathetic situation of this frog. Finally, the frog's skin bag started to sink. So, here we already discussed, she is a lover of nature. She had the habit to watch all the things very closely, and she started to observe all the things in nature, especially in the Tinker Creek, for taking 1 year. She is afraid of frogs, and she knew the habit of frogs. We can't expect its jump, but when she identified this small green frog at the Tinker Creek, she became startled. What happened to this one? It is not jumped at that moment, and it became the deflating football. What is the reason? Anyway, at that moment she couldn't identify the reason, but she understood it is dying each and every moment. നമ്മൾ ഇത്ര നേരം സംസാരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് ആനി ഡില്ലിയാർഡിൻ്റെ ടിങ്കർ ക്രീക്ക്, പിൽഗ്രിം അറ്റ് ടിങ്കർ ക്രീക്ക് എന്ന അവരുടെ വളരെ പ്രശസ്തമായിട്ടുള്ള മെമ്മോയറിലെ ഒരു ഭാഗമാണ്. അതിൽ നമ്മൾ കണ്ടു കഴിഞ്ഞു, ആനി ഡില്ലിയാർഡ് ഷീ ഈസ് എ നാച്ചുറലിസ്റ്റ്. ഷീ ബിലീവ്സ്, ഷീ വാണ്ട്സ് ടു കണക്ട് ദ നേച്ചർ വിത്ത് ഗോഡ്. മോർ ദാൻ ദാറ്റ്, ഷീ ഈസ് വെരി ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റഡ് ടു ഒബ്സർവ് ഫ്രോഗ്സ്. ബട്ട് ഈ ഫ്രോഗ്സിൻ്റെ കേസ് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ആനി ഡില്ലിയാർഡ് വാസ് അഫ്രൈഡ് ഓഫ് ഫ്രോഗ്സ്. അവരുടെ കുട്ടിക്കാലത്ത് മുതലേ അവർക്കത് ഉള്ളതാണ്. പക്ഷേ ഈവൻ ഷീ ഈസ് അഫ്രൈഡ് ഓഫ് ഫ്രോഗ്സ്, ഷീ വാണ്ട്സ് ടു ഒബ്സർവ് ഇറ്റ് ക്ലീൻലി. That is why she spent a lot of time near this Tinker Creek. Then she identified, she observed a small green frog, and she started to think why it is not jumping at that moment, and even she identified it is dying. Then she couldn't identify the reason, so she started to find out the reason. What happened to this small green frog? Okay. So I think all of you are traveling with Annie Dillard. You can watch the pathetic situation of a small green frog. It died. We don't know who is the villain, who behind this tragic death. Okay. Then we can start the journey with Annie Dillard. Then we will definitely find out the villain who killed this small green frog. I had read about the giant water bug, but never seen one. Giant water bug is really the name of the creature, which is an enormous, heavy-bodied brown bug. It eats insects, tadpoles, fish and frogs. Its grasping forelegs are mighty and hooked inward. It seizes a victim with these legs, hugs it tight, and paralyzes it with enzymes injected during a vicious bite. That one bite is the only bite it ever takes. But when we read this paragraph, we didn't get the clear idea about who is the villain. But suddenly she started to speak about another creature, that it is giant water bug. Have you ever seen a giant water bug in your life? Maybe you have seen bug. You are very familiar with a bug. Am I right? Okay. Anyway, giant water bug, it is really the name of a creature, and it is an enormous, heavy-bodied brown bug. It is very big. Its color is brown. Can you imagine the picture of a bug? It is very big. Its color is brown. It eats insects, tadpoles, fish and frogs. So I think you got the clue. Because these giant water bugs, it eats insects, tadpoles, fish and also frogs. Then can you connect giant water bug with a frog? Okay, so its grasping forelegs are mighty and hooked inward. So I told you it is very big, enormous. It is in brown in color and it has a powerful forelegs and it has the power to grasp something very tightly. Then it seizes a victim with these legs, hugs it tight and paralyzes it with enzymes injected during a vicious bite. It's just like a snake, I think. It has the power to give a vicious bite to its victim. Through this method, giant water bug is attacking its victims. So when it make a bite, at that moment it injected an enzyme to the body of a victim. When the enzyme reached in that body, the body of the victim will be paralyzed. So that one bite is the only bite it ever takes. Through the puncture shot, the poisons that dissolve the victim's muscles and bones and organs, all but the skin, and through in the giant water bug sucks out the victim's body, reduced to a juice. But you know, this giant water bug, it only gives a one bite to the victim. Through that one bite, it will inject the enzyme to the victim's body. It is very powerful and it is the very powerful enzyme. So it has the power to paralyze the body of victim. So it can't move. At that moment, giant water bug started to suck the whole content of the victim body, reduced to a juice. This event is quite common in warm fresh water. The frog I saw was being sucked by a giant water bug. I had been kneeling on the island grass when the unrecognizable flap of frog skin settled on the creek bottom. Swaying, I stood up and brushed the knees of my pants. I couldn't catch my breath. Then I understood the real villain. It is none other than the giant water bug. Actually, the giant water bug killed this small green frog. It seized the small frog and it injected the enzyme. As the result, the frog became paralyzed and the giant water bug started to make it as a juice. As the result, it died. So today we discussed the first module. Our module is autobiographical writings and memoirs. I think all of you got the clear idea about what it is autobiographical writings and memoirs. Then after that we started to speak about our author. Have you remembered the author? Yes, our author is Annie Dillard. She is a very famous American writer. And here we are studying her famous work, Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. It is a memoir. She also wrote autobiography, that it is an American childhood. We also spoke about in detail relating Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. Then after that we started the textbook. through the textbook we already discussed about a small green frog, and we also identified a new creature that it is a giant water bug. Then we also understood how the giant water bug killed a small frog. So all of you please read the textbook thoroughly. You please listen my audio video clips. After that we will make a discussion relating this autobiography and autobiography writings and memoirs about Annie Dillard, and also her famous work Pilgrim at Tinker Creek, and we will continue the question answer section through our WhatsApp online classes. Thank you so much. Stay home, stay safe, happy learning.